This short video is going to be about how to put glass in the building. If I zoom in on this, the rendering has it so I can see inside the building. And the reality is during the daytime, you don't see inside the building. The windows look dark gray, dark blue. So we want to change that, and they often reflect what's happening in the landscape. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go back to my house layer, and I'm going to unlock it and expand that down. And I'm going to take the house and I'm going to duplicate it. And then I'm just going to shut that one off. I just want to, actually I'll shut off the original one. So I'm going to do house with windows cut out. I saved it because I didn't want, in case I mess this up, I want to be able to go back and get it. So what I want to do is I want to cut out the windows. I'm going to use my polygonal lasso tool. And I'm going to come in here. And I'm just going to cut out where the glass is. And I'll hit delete, and it's gone. You'll start seeing your landscaping behind it. So I'm going to do that for these 3 windows. And then over here, these are rectangles. So I can just use my rectangle tool right here. And I can grab them and delete them. These have a little bit of slope at the bottom. If I was picky, I might do the polygonal lasso tool on those too. So when I zoom out, you see I'm seeing the landscape. So what we want to do is we want to take the background copy, and we want to make another copy of it. And we're going to call this windows. And I'm going to shut off the background. I can move this around until I get what I think I want to reflect in mine. I'm going to reflect the dark green because I know the yellow doesn't work well. So that's going to be my windows. And I just need this little piece right here. So I'm going to take my lasso tool and I'm going to select this. And then I'm going to go up to select, inverse, and I'm going to hit delete. So now I've just got, that's my windows. And then I can go and I can change the opacity on this, or I can change the fill. I can add filters to it. I can let me put in let me do some adjustments. Brightness, contrast, I'm going to take down the brightness. I'll change the exposure. That's probably what will do for me. And why is this not doing anything? There. It's because I still had the Control D on there. So I'm going to take the exposure way down, and I'm going to add a lot more blue into there. So I change exposure, and then I'm going to go image adjustments, and I'm going to do hue saturation, and I'm going to add a lot more blue in there. And bring this down, take the red out. So that's my background. Let me put everything back on again. Put my landscape back on. I've got my people in here. And one thing I neglected in the last video to show you was when you've got the shadows, you want to filter, blur. I've got my two guys shadow. Let's go down and look at it. They're too rough right now, so you want to do filter, blur. You have to select them, filter, blur. Why am I getting this? Oh, my layers are locked. No wonder I can't do anything. Select my selection, then filter, blur. I want this Gaussian blur. And if I pull it up, you notice the edges get fuzzier. So I want to give it a softer edge to it. And then if I do Control D and I zoom in, you can see they're not as crisp as they were. My little dog needs softer shadows. So I'll go to the dog shadow. I'll load my selection. And then I'll do filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And I think I hit it at 5.2. Let's see how that looks on this little dog. And that's a lot softer shadow. So you're going to add the windows in, and you're going to soften the shadows on your people. I still think these shadows are probably too dark and neat and a little distorted. I would stay away from two people. I think it makes it a lot harder. I'll filter. I'll do my tree shadow. I want to give the tree shadow a lot more blur to it because it would be a little fuzzier. And I would say, okay, Control D. And I think that reads a lot better. So work on the shadows. I think I'd take the transparency down and blur this one up a little bit. Maybe blur this one up a little bit more too. That's the end of this video. Thanks.